Growing up. I'm 42, wife is 40, married 11 years with 2 daughters, 10, 7. Long story, and the why doesn't really matter as we each have our own bag of BS, but the result is that wife has been in an E&P since last October with another married man, with kids no less. She is going through a classic MLC and is self-medicating with the affair. She feels absolved as I knew about it after an earlier conversation last year where she expressed her desire to mess around and encouraged me to do the same because our physical life was non-fulfilling to her. To be honest, it wasn't great for me either, no physical issues, everything functions. More of a communication problem. But I told her the fact that we have physical issues is a symptom of more fundamental unmet needs in the relationship on both sides. Resentment, neediness, expectations, goals, appreciation, respect, etc. If we worked on and addressed those issues, I'm confident we could fix the symptoms, including the bonding. In any event, I told her I do not approve of going outside the marriage because I don't believe it solves anything but would not prevent her because ultimately, we each make our own decisions and have to live with the consequences. I was also thinking, mostly out of frustration at that point, maybe she just needs to get a one-night fun out of her system. I could deal with that if it helped clarify things for her and got us back on track. Unfortunately, she decided to jump off the cliff like a kid in a candy store instead of focusing on herself and us. Maybe I don't feel the violation of trust as much, since I knew about it, but certainly it violated my will. Predictably, things have been going downhill fast since, with me pulling away further, withholding intimacy, just feeding into the EA, PIA and even more. She said she dropped the guy a few months ago and wanted to reconcile. She presented it to me as a great gift and sacrifice for her, which I'm sure it was. Hard to quit cold turkey, but without any sense of remorse for the hurt she caused. I think she was expecting more of a reaction from me, but without the remorse I am unwilling to let go. I told her I needed to know the motivation for her dropping the guy and the sudden change of heart towards reconciliation. After pulling teeth, I got she was fearful of not giving our relationship one last try. She was fearful for our kids, for the future. She wanted to see if we could learn to love each other like we once did, implying there was no love from her. I was waiting to hear the reason I needed to hear for myself, which was something akin to I want to reconcile because I've realized I love you and salvaging that is more important to me than anything else. I didn't get it and it crushed me. I believe humans are motivated by either fear or love, and I heard fear driving all the reasons she gave me. I needed to hear a love reason. I told her all this and she started the affair up again shortly thereafter when she told me I could care less about her offer to drop the guy. She went to individual therapy but had nothing to talk about after 1.5 sessions. Fast forward to today, I finally decided to file, but as crazy as it sounds, I'm still holding on to the dream of the marriage I once had, thinking the bull is going to stop rampaging the china shop. She said I was premature in filing and we should have tried separation first, but she can't tell me what she hopes to get out of it. Separation. Personally, I think she may have had BPD or be slightly bipolar. Grew up in Argentina where she had 24/7 domestic help and an aloof mother, Reed, entitled Princess. Her parents split when she was 10 and her father died when she was 14, although she denies that this has anything to do with our current problem. It's all my fault. I think I was just looking for validation that going forward with my divorce was the right thing. Yes, I'll admit my head was stuck up my ass for the past year, permitting the affair to go on and passively doing nothing constructive about it until filing. In retrospect, I think my marriage was doomed the moment my wife floated the idea in the first place because I fully believe she would have gone behind my back at some point anyways. I just accelerated the inevitable. In that respect, I'm glad I'm getting out now and not when I'm 50. As far as blowing up her fantasy land affair, I've thought about it many times and agree it would feel good to go thermonuclear on it. But you know what? I'm above that. Life, karma will hit her in the ass. Hard. As much as the OM is a piece of trash, it's my WW that initiated everything. Yes, I have copious amounts of electronic evidence, emails, pics, etc. Right now, my wife is amicable to the divorce. She thinks she's in love with her new mister. Right, we all know how that story's going to end anyways, right? With or without my intervention. And being that she's amicable, I'm in the driver's seat because she's just letting the crap happen to her. She's cool with mediation and doesn't want to fight for anything. I really don't want to go down the litigation route. The reality, also, is that we have to work together for the benefit of our kids going forward, and I'm paying attention to the bigger picture. I'm doing what I must for myself. Frankly, I could care less who is filling her holes at this point as long as my kids aren't around it. She prefers to keep the house and I'm inclined to let her have it and walk away with my retirement accounts. We want to keep the house for the benefit of the kids, at least in the near term. I'm thinking I'll get something nearby, but not too near. I filed joint, which she's cool with. For myself, I think I'd prefer to have a change of scenery and to help me reset my mental state going forward. With the house, there's too many memories. Right now, we're both in the house sleeping separately. I don't plan to leave the house until the final judgment is wrapped up and everything looks good. I understand the rationale behind not leaving the house. However, I'm still in the house, and if we agree in mediation, not litigation, to a deal that's equitable, the final judgment entered, how is that going to haunt me later if I then move out? Neighborhood perception. Perhaps, but as everyone knows, there's 3 sides to a story. Frankly, if it was up to me and my wants, needs, I'd sell the house and split the proceeds. But I want to keep the house for the benefit of my kids. I was thinking of an alternative, keep the house as a joint interest with a clause to sell in, say, 5 years. At such point in time the primary resident, myself or her, could either A, buy the other one out of their interest or sell the house and split the proceeds. My plan is not to air our dirty laundry and say she's a disrespectful, cheating, unworthy wife. Remember, I have evidence, she doesn't. If she were to go crazy on me and attempt to tar and feather me, it would just be her crazy made-up story to which I would respond with real proof. The OM is married with kids. Do you really think he's going to drop all that and move into my house? I've been monitoring their conversations and I know he's just telling her what she wants to hear so he can get what he wants. My STBX may be manic, but I don't think she's totally insane. I'm thinking I keep house as joint interest with option for me to buy her out or force sale in, say, 5 years unless we've decided to sell earlier, of course. Equity earnings split 50-50 in sale scenario. I give her 50% of the retirement and then she moves out and finds a place of her own. I can live with that. In the meantime, I can keep myself busy with major external renovation to make the place feel like a new beginning for me. The more I thought about it, most of the crap in the house is mine anyways. If she resists the idea, I'll say I'll expose affair with evidence. As I said earlier, I haven't exposed affair because I don't care at this point, as far as reconciliation. But I do have to live with this woman in a co-parenting situation for the rest of our lives. Why accelerate a train that's going to run into a brick wall on its own? If she moves out, who cares? I like the no overnights thing. I would spin it as no overnights for either of us while the kids are under the age of consent and are in our custody until such time as we get remarried or file a declaration of domestic partnership with the state. In a similar vein, if spousal support is awarded, I'm going to get it in writing that it will cease if one or more of the following are true. 1. Half the length of the marriage has elapsed. 2. She has either remarried or filed a declaration of domestic partnership with the state. I'm trying to be the one adult in the relationship and not poke the hornet's nest for the benefit of our kids. She is an entitled princess, but she's also the mother to my kids and she needs to be the best at that as possible without me ratcheting up the top level unless absolutely necessary. If we didn't have kids, then I think I would be a lot more scorched earth on the whole thing. True remorse. No. Does she have a guilty conscience? Yes. Guilty enough to stop her teenage behavior? No. We've been sleeping apart for 6 months, but I'll wake up in the morning with her beside me, sometimes hugging me. Then she'll disappear for 3 days and tells me to take care of our kids and her 94-year-old grandma. Believe me, it's not like I want divorce. It's not like I haven't done a lot of soul searching about what that means to everyone, especially to the 2 people that have no say in the matter, our kids. However, I also cannot tolerate the situation as it currently exists, which is my wife is an out-of-control tornado having a narcissistically great time at my expense. In the meantime, I've taken the high road, but I'm losing myself in the process. I also can't ignore that my wife maybe isn't made of the moral fiber I once thought she was. I've lost respect, trust, and love for what we once had. And even if she were to have a moment of clarity, I keep thinking in the back of my mind, do I really want to be with this woman for the rest of my life? Can I really be with this woman and be truly happy about that decision? Do I have the will inside of me to put in the massive work required into rebuilding on my side for something I wonder might not pan out? I think I could if I saw true remorse, if I saw a woman fighting for her marriage harder than she fought giving birth to our firstborn, if I saw that she truly gave a damn and did whatever was required, like fully committing to individual, marriage counseling, etc. But I keep coming back to the fact that she has been knowingly pile driving my feelings just to have some narcissistic fun at my expense. For the past year, I asked her recently why she keeps this affair going instead of trying to work on our relationship, and she just said, because it's fun. I filed shortly thereafter, told her I'm keeping the house, she gets to move out. That's it. She said whatever, take everything. That's just the rebellious teenager talking. Point is she gets to find a new place for her new life. I sleep easier at night knowing I'm not complicit in destroying anyone's marriage other than my own. Right now it's just my WW and the OM that's complicit for blowing up 2 marriages. As far as I'm concerned, my WW initiated all of this and my WW needs to end all of this if she gives a crap about her marriage, family. If she can't do that in the face of divorce, then karma, life will take care of the rest. I will move on, however, and find a partner worthy of my love and affection. Look, I've never been through any of this. I would never wish this hell on anyone. But I do know OM is married and has kids. I'm a father of 2 of my own. What pisses me off is that kids have no say in any of this crap, including OMW's. I pictured OMW's kids' image of their dad, or who they thought was their dad, shattered. Initiated, in part, by a phone call package that I delivered to their mother. I had also believed, correctly in part, that it's my WW that initiated everything and it remains her responsibility to end it. It's a much stronger statement to the betrayed, me, if she can find that strength within her instead of me hosting an intervention. But here's the thing I'm realizing. She won't. She can't. She had a year to find the courage within her and she failed. She failed even when she turned around and saw the mushroom cloud of her marriage spewing up into the sky. It's hard to see the truth about yourself or those you most love sometimes. It's easy to look the other way. But I couldn't take it any longer. I filed. I moved on mentally. I grieved the loss of the relationship. She lost all of my respect and her own at the same time. Initiated the same on his side. It's not my fault if his kids are affected, even if I somehow set the steamroller on his life in motion. Even then it's not my fault. It's his. And now, though my wife is weak-willed, I think I need to see if she will take such a I can give a crap attitude about our marriage ending with the out of the picture, even if I have to nuke it from his end. Any advice for contacting OMW? If I'm going to do this, I want to make sure she is the one that I talk to. Don't have her email, but I do know their address and her name. Anonymous package. Maybe certified mail. I was thinking with a signature required from her. What if intercepts? For that matter, what if kid intercepts? I was thinking of blowing things up on his end before our divorce is finalized. That way my WW at least has the opportunity to show me something without any nets. I'm thinking, however, I should tell OMW after we have a deal in mediation, the papers are signed, but before the final judgment is entered. That way I still have an opportunity of pulling the plug. And also, in the event she really doesn't give a damn, then I got the best deal while I had her in a more compliant state of mind. I am on Facebook and I found her Facebook profile. Do you think that's a pretty reliable way of getting it to her? Assuming her scumbag husband isn't monitoring her Facebook account, she should read it, I would think. I'm thinking I'll just send a message along with my phone number if she wants to call me. She'll probably want some evidence, pictures, etc. to really believe it, I would think. God, I hope she doesn't read that message on her phone in a Starbucks or something. 2 years later, endless circular arguments, repeated history lessons, etc. Resentment builds. Upstream problems in relationship culminate in the bedroom and of course intimacy suffers. We try to work on issues, 6 therapists, but wife is emotional teenager and can't see it or acknowledge it, not to mention work on it like an adult. I stop caring, go dark, and go on autopilot. I start focusing on the kids and making myself happy. She flips out in full-blown midlife crisis mode. Estranged wife goes to Mexico in 2020 with girlfriends and flirts with Belgian stud on beach. Tells me nothing happened. I believe her but am angry. Why tell me? Wants me to get jealous and angrily, so she can verbally berate me again for not doing it right. Out of immense frustration I tell her next time she's in a similar situation maybe she should bang the guy and get it out of her system. Yeah, I messed that part up. Next thing I know she's in a long-term, 2+ year, affair with a married man with a family she met on AM. I knew about it, called her on it and asked her to stop many times. We keep it together for the kids and start sleeping in different rooms. She feels justified completely because I told her she could do it and I knew what she was doing. That's like telling the kids at Halloween to take one candy and they take the whole bag. Whatever. I wait for her to grow up for a year. Finally, can't take it anymore and hit her with divorce, which she could care less about. I ask for a couple of continuances because I need to get her employed. Gets job, starts getting more centered, which I'm happy about, but still has her parallel life going. Schedule mediation session and before meeting find a treasure trove of affair-related stuff, pictures, texts, letters, etc. on a thumb drive, a trophy. I don't get it. I contact the OMW and send it to her. Don't tell the wife. 2 days later the wife tells me I'm done with OM, that's it. No apology, no explanation, no nothing. A few days later she asks, why are you so moody? I couldn't take it anymore. Are you kidding me? I let her have it and tell her I sent OMW stuff I found on a thumb drive. I also sent it to her family. She falls apart. I leave the house. I get the following email a few days later. Hubby, I am so sorry we got so hurt during this stage in our lives. I am so sorry for all the hurt I caused you, being dragged into this situation. I am sad we could not see eye to eye in our relationship as a couple. I am very sad about it. You are a man with integrity. You are ethical. You have morals. You are responsible. You are true to yourself. I am so very sorry for myself I could not see eye to eye with you. As parents, we do a great job. As a couple, it seems we felt short. It sucks. I am so very sorry about this. Even though I am terrified for all the unknown of what is coming, the best thing I can do is make it easy for you so you can go and find happiness with somebody else, somebody who will value you for what you are and for whom you really are. You are a great man. Hubby, I never meant to hurt you. I believe what was done was a desperate cry for help because something in our lives, including our marriage, was not working. I hope we learn from this experience. I hope when making mistakes in the future, we make different ones. We will walk all throughout the journey of this life together. The virtue of sharing our girls will keep us together, somehow. I am glad it will. You have always been my rock. In the distance I might still feel that calmness and stability, being the father of my girls. I am glad I chose you as the father of my kids. The vow till eternity will be the case, at least regarding the eternity of this life on earth. Hubby, we have to trust life. Life works out somehow. It really does. See you around, wife. Yes, regret. It means a lot and I'm glad she said it. But I'm tired, so tired. My reply, dear wife, thank you for the note. It means a lot to me what you just said. The affair you had with has caused me unbelievable pain. It was hard enough for me to swallow that he was satisfying you more than I ever did, but it was the emotional investment that hurt me the most. Fully invested love. I kept waiting for it to end. I was hoping you'd realize that it was all fantasy crap and end it. I don't know, I guess I thought you'd realize the grass wasn't really as green as you thought it might be or something. I was waiting through vacations to Europe, trips to Palm Springs, etc. for the past 2+ years for any hint of recognition of the pain it caused OMW, myself, their kids, our kids, family, etc. and that it wasn't just a fantasy escape for you two with no strings attached. There were strings attached and there was collateral damage. I am extremely disappointed that it took me blowing it up by sending evidence of the affair to OMW. I was hoping you'd find the strength inside yourself before it got to that point. That's the problem with affairs, they only work in secret. I think you know this now. I recognized all this before I went down the same road and realized fairly quickly this was a road to nowhere good. It's like their family coming over to our house and then you are making out with their spouse in front of everybody. That's the damage affairs do if it's revealed to the world. They can only exist in the dark. In my opinion, the only honorable way to start a new relationship is out in the open. Meaning you'd be okay at some point if everyone, family, kids, neighbors, friends, etc., knew. The only honorable way then to start a new relationship is to end the one you're currently in, as painful as that may be to do. For my part, I'm sorry that I hurt you with my words, actions. I admit I have not been nearly my best as all of this has been taking a huge emotional toll on me. I shut down. Even though I didn't have an affair with a married person, I did have a FWB for a brief time, 2 months early last year, after I filed for divorce with someone in my same situation. I had no feelings for this person, or vice versa I imagine. Ours was a brief relationship built on gratitude and a mutual recognition we were on the same crappy part of the road of life. We licked each other's wounds, so to speak. For me it was all about validation that I wasn't broken. That another young, attractive woman other than my estranged, uncommunicative, unsatisfied wife found me more than satisfactory. It was about gluing back together an emasculated, shattered ego. I felt we got to a point in the relationship where it was fundamentally broken, and instead of dealing with it the right way, we both got scared and figured maybe we just patch up some of the symptoms. Like putting a band-aid on a bloody skin cancer. The band-aid might have stopped the bleeding for a while, but the cancer continued to grow out of control. I feel our marriage is like a body full of cancer now. I don't know. I am tired. I am weak. My head hurts and I just want the pain to stop. I'm not sure I want to do the chemotherapy anymore. Death, as scary as it is, seems like maybe a more preferable option. I forgive you and you need to forgive yourself. I can't forget, but I can forgive. Forgiveness is a choice. There were some very bad choices made, and the reality is we now have to deal with and live with the consequences. There are no easy answers at this point, and the way forward is going to have difficulties. But then I guess that's life, isn't it? I'll be honest and tell you divorce scares me. Not so much the act itself, but everything it represents. The life, as everyone knows, changes from one instance to the next. I'd like to think in some good ways, but also in some bad ways. It's a rebirth into an uncertain world. I guess it's fear of the unknown again. Am I sure the relationship we have is unsalvageable? I keep coming back to if it was just the two of us, no kids, with all we have experienced since we've been together, would we be with each other now? If I'm truly honest with myself, I would say no. I think we both are here because we love our kids to death and don't want to see them in pain, especially pain that we cause. The guilt is suffocating to me sometimes. It's a crap sandwich we find ourselves with at this point. I don't know. I feel our relationship turned into some sort of sibling family love. I care about you and I respect you as a parent, but I'm lonely. So lonely. I think we both ache knowing that we each don't have what we really desire out of the relationship. I'm not sure we ever have either. Not really. I guess it will be okay. We have strength we didn't know we had. We have to believe and start putting one foot in front of the other. Hubby, no reconciliation in the cards. Honestly, I wrote what I wrote more for myself than anyone else. It's easy to lose yourself when you're with an emotional child. Doing the 180, but it's hard at times when you're forced to come together for the benefit of the kids. I guess I'm doing the 180 as practically possible given the circumstances. So now I get the response. I am extremely disappointed that it took me blowing it up by sending evidence of the affair to OMW. I was hoping you'd find the strength inside yourself before it got to that point. There is no point in being disappointed here. I realized myself this was a road to nowhere good. For whatever it's worth, I, your future ex-wife or whoever I'll be, somehow found the strength to end it on her own. The road to nowhere good finally somehow became apparent to her extremely myopic eyes. Yes, it took me a while, but I did it on my own. I'm as proud as I can be, considering the overall scummy, undesirable situation. As crazy as me not lying to you while doing what I did may sound, the fact of knowing that transparency existed allows me sleep at night, the few hours I've been able to sleep lately. That's the problem with affairs, they only work in secret. The problem with affairs is to start one. That's where the problem begins, at least in my perspective. In my opinion, the only honorable way to start a new relationship is out in the open. Meaning you'd be okay at some point if everyone, family, kids, neighbors, friends, knew. The only honorable way then to start a new relationship is to end the one you're currently in, as painful as that may be to do. This cannot be said any better, this is absolutely right. Even though I didn't have an affair with a married person. Being with a married person is wrong. Getting emotionally involved is wrong and a tremendous mistake. In most cases, it leads to nowhere. People are hanging here, there, and nowhere. For me it was all about validation that I wasn't broken. Hubby, again, for whatever it's worth, you are not physically broken. I know you are not. We seem to be broken together, so to speak. We are not individually broken. It was the emotional investment that hurt me the most. Fully invested love. To keep our honesty intact, this is what scares me about me and what happened the most. That I was fully invested. That another young, attractive woman other than my estranged, uncommunicative, unsatisfied wife found me more than satisfactory. It was about gluing back together an emasculated, shattered ego. You are a great man and you are physically fully functional. We might just have to come to terms to the fact that there seems to be no chemistry between us. I wish I could say otherwise. I honestly do. It'd be much better for the family. Hubby, we do have some things in common. Some of our beliefs are the same. We like being true to ourselves. This is one of the reasons why I believe we are and will be great co-parents. This characteristic is rare today, being true to oneself. We, humans, do not even know where to start with it. We get too scared, too easily. After so much pain, I believe we understood much of what this means. I forgot to mention she has a massive chip on her shoulder. She acknowledges the pain but refuses to admit she was the one that caused it or even had any role in it. That's what we kept coming across in therapy, no personal ownership of her stuff. Whatever, I'm done with the prideful, pseudo-intellectual woman-child. It took me a long time to realize I was, in fact, dealing with a child in an adult's body. Once I had that revelation, all the behavior made sense. Problem is that most adults want relationships with other adults and not children. My comment, OP took a while to get rid of this madness, but he finally embraces the ending of this relationship. Do you see the inequality in this, OP?